Good morning, everyone. It is Feature Friday, and today I thought I'd tell a little story. You know me, I just love a good story. I was thinking back about the first lead magnet that I ever opted in for. And I want you to think back if you can even think about what that could have been. And the funny thing is when I say this, I bet there's someone else in this crowd that opted in for the same thing. So it was probably, it's at least 15 years ago. And there was a lady called the Fly Lady who told you, see, who told
Did
you
not fly well.
the Fly Lady solved all of your problems by one thing. Can anyone remember what that one thing was? You
Um,
would
Oh my gosh.
you
Switch
would
the timer.
clean you
Shining
would
your
clean
sink?
your kitchen sink
Shine your
every
sink.
day.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Shine
And
your
So
wear your
that
sink.
shoes.
so
Fly
that your
lady.
kitchen sink was always clean, and that would be kind of the foundation for your cleaning, clutter control, everything like that, because there was one part in your entire house that was clean. Now I don't know what happened to the Fly Lady, but she was
Oh,
very
she's still
popular.
She's still
around.
around.
And I'm sure her list is huge because the very first lead magnet that I ever opted in for, and there, of course, this was pre-funnels, pre-landing pages. It was probably a comment on a blog that she would then get your email from and send you an email. But she sent a little thing about, and if I remember correctly, it was like a paragraph and maybe even a picture in the paragraph, but it was like literally a one-page thing. And then it asked you if you wanted to be on her email list because this was the first step of your new transformation. You're going to clean your sink, and then that is the first step. And then at the end, it's like, okay, you can do the first step. I mean, like that's, you don't need my help for that. But would you like the second step? I will send you the second step tomorrow. And I will send you the third step the next day. And I will send you the fourth step the next day. And so you see that this lead magnet, which was so incredibly simple, was literally the first step to transformation, or the first step that solved this problem that I had. And as you can see from the reaction in the room, that it's a common problem, and that it's not like earth shattering, curing cancer solutions. Okay. It is a one step method. So I want you to step back in your own business right now. And I want you to think, what is the first step that you solve for people? Or what is the first step for the solution that you offer? Because the truth is when you think of that bite-sized piece, she's just asking me to clean my kitchen sink, keep it clean every day. And that, so when and then she painted the picture how when I walk through the kitchen, even though there might be clutter, on the decks, or on, the cabinets may be open, there may be, in my case, fingerprints on the refrigerator. I don't have to be overwhelmed because I'm just going to look at that kitchen sink and realize that I do have some control over the situation. And so she used that first step of a very incredibly simple step that would change the way that I thought about my kitchen. So there is something in your business that is incredibly simple. Like you're overthinking it because it's kitchen sink simple. That is the first step for someone to solve that problem. And then it's a no-brainer for someone once they are in on the vision. And believe me, my kitchen was no gleaming paradise, but my kitchen sink was always clean. And then when I realized that I could keep my kitchen sink clean, my bathroom sinks were clean. And then when I realized, oh, it's really fun to walk past something clean, then you could tackle the next thing. And because one of the geniuses about the kitchen sink is it was so easy to do. And because you actually noticed it, that it gave you that hit of dopamine of success, even though chaos ensued everywhere else in the house. So think about something incredibly simple for that first step. And then you can see, once I'm bought into the kitchen sink being clean, who am I going to get that next step from? Am I going to Martha Stewart at this point? No, because Martha Stewart didn't unveil this amazing success of the kitchen sink. I'm going to stay with the fly lady. And if she's like, hey, this 30 days of getting your house under control is $30, I'm going to do the math in my head. I'm going to be like, you mean for $1 a day, she can transform my whole house just like she did in this kitchen sink situation? So you can see, if we give them the first step, and that's a really great lead magnet, is a first step that gives them some success and opens up the door for the steps 2 through whatever. So let's go ahead, and we're gonna make the Fly Lady lead magnet today, because I want to show you how simple this is. And of course, the Fly Lady did not have page wheel. The Fly Lady did not have anything like this. So we're gonna go to the project builder. And we're going to do a page by page builder. Now we could go through and make a cover and all these things. And in fact, we could do that very, very simply. But I think I want to just show you that a one pager can really do the trick in a lot of these cases, because I hate to break it to you, it's not about the lead magnet. It's about the problem that you're solving.
Right. Holly, are you recording?
Yes, I am. So I'm just going to skip the branding, and we're going to put a no cover on this one. Although we will go through the process of creating a cover, just because we're going to name it, because that's going to give the AI on the next page a prompt. And I really should have closed down all of my tabs before I started this video. All right, so let's do clean your kitchen sink now. Let's say how this one task done consistent changes everything. All right. So I just pushed the no cover option there, and then we're going to go into the DIY page builder. If you're new to Page Wheel, if you just follow the prompts, it's going to take you through all these steps. You don't have to worry about making sure that you know what the next thing to do is. Just kind of answer or do whatever's on the page. So now we're at the DIY page builder, where it says, what type of page do you want? Well, I just want to explain something. So let's just go ahead and grab, I use this Journeys to Success in probably every single lead magnet I make. And the reason for it is it's a header and a paragraph text, which couldn't be more simple. So you see how, because I titled this AI, the book, the Clean Your Kitchen Sink Now, it has a pretty decent AI result, but I'm going to go ahead and rerun it with a little bit more information. So I'm going to say, start cleaning your sink throughout the day, and then see how this one step changes everything. That may be a little long. You don't want to go much past the opening. Now, if clean sink, big change, I love that. If we wanted to make that a color, then we're just going to bold it. And then that's too light for me, so I'm going to just change it to that right there. Okay. Many people want to be successful, but they don't always know what the best way to start. Perfect for what we're doing. So I'm just going to go through. If obviously, if I was here alone, I'd probably read it a little bit better. But I'm just going to go in here and make sure that everything is kind of spaced out. I probably, because this is so personal to me, I would probably tell the story about how this lady changed my life 17 years ago by saying this one thing to me. So then you can see at the bottom here, we still have a little bit of space. And by the way, the red warning would come up if we didn't. So I would say, take the next step with me. And you don't even have to do much beyond that. You could just put a hyperlink to wherever you want them to go next. Maybe you have a challenge. Maybe you have a Facebook group. Maybe you have a paid product. Maybe you're already getting them on the email list. Whatever that next thing is. By the way, you don't have to do that right now. You could go get the link and come back and edit it later. All right. But I'm going to go ahead and just bold that so that we'll pretend like that's a hyperlink. But if we were adding a hyperlink, we just hit that. All right, let's go looks good next. Now, the cool thing is I could have created an AI image of a sink and put it in there too, but I really don't think it's about the lead magnet at this point. It's about the big idea that paints that picture that this is possible. So you could see, we could look at it right now, but here again, I don't really care. Let's go ahead and create a website, because this is where it's going to get interesting for that next step. Is this first page just needs to give the idea that this is going to help them change their life. Now, with something so simple, she probably let the cat out of the bag that it's the sink trick. But did that stop me from then going and getting the download? No, because it can't be like my problem can't be solved that easily. I'm gonna go ahead and refresh this section. It looks like the thing isn't coming through, so I'll take a look at that. But and if you had a video or something like that, you could do that. It's because I didn't put a cover on it here. But anyway, this would show up and will show up later today. So it's not about, even if you have something so simple that you're giving it away ahead of time, then giving them some background. One of the things I was going to say is this could be a 5-page book, a 10-page book, because it could say, you could do a page of psychology behind, habit changing. You could give them a schedule or a journal, or think you could make this bigger if you wanted to, but why? Especially if that next step is going to be you hand holding them or you giving them more of this information. I love when the lead magnet gives just enough that they're like, okay, this girl's credible. I want to take the next step with her. So in this case, I don't really need all this stuff. I'm just going to hide these sections because I don't need to convince anybody that this is literally, this is a no-brainer. You're either going to be interested in this idea or not. And then in this case, I would probably put something about how this idea changed my life. And if I was actually doing this, I would also say, give credit to Fly Lady. I don't want them to think it's my idea. All right, so let's go to the next page. So here, these two first buttons are going to be the actual delivery of the PDF. I don't really feel like I need this section in this. I'm just going to hide this section. This is going to be, let's say we have, come join my 30-day cleaning challenge and take steps 2 through 30 with me and others. The other thing is, if you have a situation where the people can take steps together or take steps holding your hand, that is incredibly powerful, because what happens right now is psychologically, I've just been let in behind the scenes to the most magical idea. And so I'm like, oh my gosh, have I been overthinking this my whole life? Is it really this simple? So what I would love to do right now is go connect with others who just learned that secret too. Because all of a sudden we have like this secret society of people who are in on the secret. So there's a bonding that happens immediately when people come in with such even with such a simple thing. I do need to remind you, this is not the cancer cure. This is somebody that told me to go get a scrub, a sponge, and wipe down my sink. Okay. So this can be easily put up. And so here we go. And then I would send this to another, in our case, another page wheel page for the paid challenge. So I'm going to leave this blank now. I would go make that challenge, either the website or the digital product with a workbook and then come back and add that link right here. Okay, does that make sense? The other thing I might do is I might say, let's go up here, is I might say, let's add a video, because you know what's really convincing? Holly on video. so I might say, hey, I know this sounds super stupid simple, but this was the first thing that I did that made this transition in my life. So if you want, you can do this on your own. Like you can, you have the full power in your life to go clean that sink every day. I mean, you can even figure out these next steps. But what would be more fun would be you join in and we do this together. Because remember, people are online because they want to connect, or people are online to fix what is going on in their real lives. Even though we're all living in this virtual world, it's because we live in a real world, and we need to stop forgetting about that. So a little bit of, I like a call to action video above this. If you have the 3 seconds to record that on your phone, upload it to YouTube. Does not have to be fancy. Again, it's not about the production value. It's not in fact, the more slick this was, would I have opted in if it had been Martha Stewart 17 years ago? Very unlikely, because I would have been like, Martha Stewart has a full staff. Like, what does she know about cleaning sinks? So think about basically the humanity of that and how you can outsell Martha Stewart in this situation. And then when we get to the email, this is going to mimic the delivery page. So I'm going to say, here's your download. If you want to go back to the delivery page, you can go back and watch the video. Come join us for this challenge, and put the link in here, and then just make sure that everything else makes sense. We're still getting a little bit of weird stuff on these, so just FYI. All right. So here we have the finished page for this, and people can just opt in and I will fix the imagery later. But I wanted to show you kind of that first step lead magnet is such a powerful, powerful thing for your business. And I promise you that 100% of us, and I say that with confidence, are overthinking this. Like we're thinking, no, we need to do all the things. We need to make their life completely different today. When in reality, part of this goes back to what people believe is possible in their own lives. And one of the things I found from being in the network marketing business for a long time is a lot of the times the leaders were like, make $1 million. Come join the program, make $1 million. When most of the people that joined my team, $1 million seemed like that's crazy pants. Like that's not reality for me. But if I say to you, you know what, come on, join in, a few $100s, maybe, pay for the sports, pay for the gym membership, pay for this. That's where all of a sudden like, oh, I can do that. And then guess what? Once you've done that, once you've made that first $100, that $1 million seems way more possible. Once you've cleaned the sink, for a day or two or three or four, then whatever that next step seems way more possible. And so giving that person a quick win success in step one of whatever it takes to solve the big problem is where lead magnets can just kill as a lead into a paid product, a paid everything. So just think about that path when you're creating it. All right.
Hey, can I piggyback on what Holly just said?
Yes.
I was going to write this in here, but it's too long. Holly is absolutely telling you guys the damn truth. And I'm just going to be like, go Holly, because honest to God, I saw this over and over and over and over again when I was faculty for the Center for Executive Coaching and I was training coaches all over the world. And I know that first 1,000 breeds the first, I will tell you, it's 100,000. You can get to 100,000 easily, but you got to get that first 1,000. Once you get to the 100, I saw the plateaus. You need to be working with somebody like Holly that's going to encourage you to keep going, because there's 100,000. There's 300,000 is kind of that next easy jump. There's about 600,000. And when you get there, that 7 figures is not out of the realm of doing. It's doable. And there are people out here doing it. Just get going. If there is anything, just listen to Holly. Okay, I'm done.
I will send you your check later, Nikki. But no, I love what Sean just said. This is a simple technique you use in your own business, and you teach to the people you're coaching or the people that, when you're taking in that new client for your agency, it's what problem do they solve? What is the very first step? And then you're going to say, what the hell? Is it really that simple? Yes. Yes, it actually is. So
we're just afraid it's that simple, and somehow we missed it.
Yeah. You're like, no, I have to be fancy, or no, I have to do this, or I have to launch 100 videos on YouTube, or I have to do this. No, you have to have like one thing.
Right. You have to get started.
Yeah.
And it's also because it's simple to us, right? We think, oh, that's got to be too simple. Like now it is, right, for us. But it wasn't back when my sink was filled and my kids were running around and I had not been taught how to clean a house. And this lady came along on a bulletin board, because there wasn't even
it was a bulletin board.
and said, just clean your sink and wear your shoes every day. I was like, no.
Oh, the shoes. I forgot about the shoes.
Address to your shoes. And see, look, we're still talking about her. She's still
And what about the 21 fling boogie? Anybody done the 21 fling boogie?
I forgot about that one.
But you're right. As soon as I was like, you mean if I just clean my sink, like all this chaos can be gone? And like you, I was like, no, it can't be that simple, right? Like nobody had taught me that earlier. Yeah. I didn't need that, right? So
no, and it was so
sections,
freaking simple and it's such a simple concept that applied to something that hadn't occurred to me, that was overwhelming. And then I still remember the feeling of success walking past that stupid sink.
Yes. And then even now when I clean my bathroom, I'm swish and swipe the toilet. Like it is stuck. But, I did, like you probably think, oh, I'm probably the only one that doesn't know how to clean a house, right? Like so it's not overwhelming me with all these children and these obligations and it just like, it's never ending. And she gave us a system. And I was like, I don't have to do this on these days. I don't have to do it every single freaking day.
You want to know something really funny?
I clean the living room once a week.
Something really funny about Fly whatever
lady
is there was a lady who coached the Fly Lady way when I was cooking at home in Maine, and my kitchen was just toast all the time. And that's part of what drew people in. Well, she reached out to me and she's like, I really want to mentor you because your house is a mess. And I was like, I don't know how I feel about this. So she mentored me and I got like things really clean for a while. I got so many messages Please go back to the messy
Back to
kitchen.
the mess.
I can't relate to this, KJ. And I'm like, okay, I'm okay with
Yes.
that.
When you start your business like KJ did by exploding a blender, nobody wants clean KJ.
I
No,
get
they
messages
wanna
all the
relate.
time lately that say, you're too professional now. I don't like it. I'm like, I've just grown up a little bit. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know how to go back to being as much of a hot mess, but I'm really trying. I'm really trying to become hot mess KJ
We'll drag you
again.
back
You're
down,
working on it.
KJ.
But
And I think it's fine to have windows, like, because one of the things that, okay, if we're telling the stories today. So one of the things when I was selling LuLaRoe is my business partner was plus size. And so we killed in the plus size market. In fact, we were the #1 plus size sellers online. And I mean, like, it was an amazing situation. And it was really cool because we realized that one of the geniuses of LuLaRoe at the time, whatever you think of them today, I agree with you, is that I could shop with my best friend who was plus size and we could wear the same things and we could go play, whereas in the real world, we went to different stores or we went to different sections of the stores. And that's just not that's not cool. So what was so cool about LuLaRoe is that brought that world together and we could celebrate that. And then it was funny because we would go places and of course people watch our videos and stuff like that. No one ever recognized me. But everybody recognized her. And so, because it was unusual at the time to have somebody plus size selling clothes online. So, but that, she has now lost 200 pounds. The crazy thing is she could not start that journey while we were selling clothes. She was locked into that persona. And it was like this wrestling in her brain that she wanted to be something different, but because she was now the poster child for plus size modeling, she couldn't break out of that. So like, be careful about those pigeonholes because it wasn't worth her being in agony for years and years. And by the way, like, she could have done it, like we could have followed that journey because people were in us for the story, not because we were set in stone. So I think in that situation is just frame it in the story arc. We're in the middle of the story. We're not at the beginning of the story. We're not at the end of the story. So yeah, today you might be clean, but my guess is tomorrow, maybe not.
I wanted to tell you too, one day this week, I don't know if it was Monday or Wednesday, but you talked about call to action. And so I've been trying to get more consistent with the newsletter, making it happen every single day. And I started adding like 5 different call to actions in there. And it is paying off. Like, I'm selling little bits of things here and there, like little menus and this, and that, like $3 or $4 here. That's fine. But one thing that I did was at the end of every email, I put a contact KJ and I said, answer this question today. And just an engagement question. I have been getting hundreds of emails every day, which is upping my email delivery, like
Yes.
major in just 3 days with that little call to action.
Yeah.
So,
and in fact,
thank you.
I'm so glad that you said that. That is a really, really great idea for those of you who are trying to revive a list, is by giving them some sort of feedback. And it doesn't have to be anything genius. Like this same friend who lost the 200 pounds, she used to have a happiness challenge that she'd send out for the first 5 days of her email. And like, it would be like, what's your favorite movie? And she would have like 60% response rate on that. And so that is a really great way to overcome the algorithm. So again, don't overthink it. And she was selling something at that time that it was worth her to actually come back and hire someone to just answer those emails once every morning for an hour. Just because that can weigh you down too. So be careful about that. Joy, I know that you had a question earlier. I didn't mean to ignore you.
No, it's okay. I wasn't sure when was the right time to ask. I kept putting my hand up and down, up and
No,
down.
you're good.
I have a newer newsletter, and used to make products with, Canva and work a bajillion hours on it, and then try to sell them, and then I get annoyed when they wouldn't sell. But I felt like I was kind of annoying my clients a little bit. But whenever I use Page Wheel, I've literally gotten FOMO over my own product. So I made one. It was like 13 pages long, and I kind of toyed with the idea of selling it or giving it away. But if I sell it, let's say for the 7, I want to do maybe like a lead magnet of, I guess, one of those pages. Would that work? Or what's the best
Yeah.
way to sell this?
And you could, if you have something that you made in Canva, just set it up to an 8.5 by 11 PDF, and you can upload it into Page Wheel.
That's good to know. I have a few things. I would love to transfer them over.
Yeah,
but
don't
this
remake those things. Just
Okay.
resize them, or if they're probably already
8
that
by
size.
11. Okay.
And then one of the things I do all the time, Joy, is that I might give away, like maybe I have, because I do kids activities. So I might have a multiplication pack that might be 12 pages, but I might give away the standard 100 multiplication table as a lead magnet, and then say, oh, do you want the rest of these, for $7? So that it could even be something that's in that pack already that could be given away, and then show them that, oh, if you want the rest of this, go ahead and buy it.
That makes sense. That's really good. That was my thoughts, but I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
Thank you
I
so
love
much.
that. Yeah. And Joy, if you're in the middle of it and you have some questions, I'm the one on the live chat. So just hit the live chat on Page Wheel, and I'll chat with you about it.
Yes. Thank you.
Christina.
Okay, so as you know, I was working on things yesterday. And when I got to the part of like after I added the upsell, then it pulled up a delivery email, but then it confused me because it was talking about the upsell, but then I ended up changing it to the freebie delivery because then I was like confused whether the delivery email from the other one was gone or what was going on.
Yeah, so that's why the upsell, and this goes for everyone, the upsell and the order bump is in beta right now.
Okay.
And the reason for that is the delivery does not work seamlessly. We are redesigning it so that you'll actually be able to edit an email for this scenario, an email for this scenario, an email for this scenario. But we had people using it because they're like, I'll just email them. If you're not selling 1 million of them, then, going through your list at the end of the day, or whenever whenever you have time, you could send that out individually. So this is something that will be solved within the next 2 weeks, from what I'm understanding, as far as the timeline goes. But it is super beta right now. The reason why
I shouldn't have changed it back to the other email then, should I?
No,
what the first one was?
So I think they're going to have purchased something to get that email.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, well, 1 second. You're doing a lead magnet, though. I do not know if the free to. I would leave it open-ended if I were you. I would just say, deliver the free thing, and then if you purchased the thing, I'll be sending that to you. Give them I'll be sending that to you within the next 24 hours or whatever.
Am I able to go into where, I guess I would click on websites on that product and then go double check the emails or whatever? Okay.
Yeah. In fact, in your dashboard is the product, and underneath of it says websites, email, your links. And if you hit the email, you can edit the email for that thing. But just be aware that anything you see in Page Wheel that's beta, we ain't lying.
Well, it was the first time I'm trying it. I haven't put it out into the world yet. It's going to be going out to the world, but I was just like, well, that's a good idea to add.
It's totally worthwhile. And then in that case, you'll see the money come through so that you'll know just to send that product out. Now, if you're running a massive business where that would cause trouble and things would go through the cracks, those of us who are getting started in a lot of stuff, it's not that big of a deal. Just remind yourself once a day to go check.
Yeah. All right. Thank you.
Absolutely.
And thanks, Kim, for that idea. And KJ, I'm writing it down.
I love that. All right.
Super beta.
Oh, Kim says, here's a good one. Guess a number between 1 and 1,000. Give a small prize. I love that. A digital product. In fact, you'll see Rachel, when she writes her own emails and has a VA, does this all the time, is she'll say, respond back for X. With Holly writing her emails and doing all the customer service and all the VA work, I'm not doing that. So, but when we get to full staff, we'll be doing that again. So you could be using some of these lead magnets and freebies in that way. Say, hey, respond back and I'll send you X, Y, Z. You could send them to the page wheel thing. You could download the PDF and attach it, whichever is easier for you at that point. Because remember, whatever your intention is. So if your intention is email engagement, then don't overthink all the other parts. Just make it simple. In my case, when I use Gmail, I'll just set up one of those templates. I don't even remember what they call them, but with the whole email that has the attachment, so I can just, and I'll AAA current thing so that it's alphabetically at the top. And you can just send it out really quick with just a quick button. Yeah, another one that people love is what are you watching on Netflix? All right. Anybody else today? Oh, Nikki.
Sorry, I'm like pushing buttons trying to figure out how to do the raise hand, and it wasn't. I don't know. Am I the only one that can't find
if you
that?
keep doing this, it'll pop up eventually.
Will it really?
Sometimes, not always.
Maybe. I don't know. But I do have a question.
Yeah.
Okay. So first of all, I have to give a shout out to Annette. I met with her this week. That woman is brilliant. She's over here hiding, pretending that she's not. By the way, it is like, I don't even know.
4 a.m.
4 a.m. in Hawaii right now. And she told me she stayed up all night just to make the page wheel meeting today. So
Annette, you're amazing.
She has businesses and successes, and I think I'm doing pretty well at 60, but somebody needs to ask that woman what her secret is, because I'm not going to tell you how old she is, but I'll let her do that. Anyway. Sorry, but I do have a question.
But I cannot do a page wheel launch
yet.
You
can. There's hope for you, Annette.
I think your whole thing was for me today, Holly.
I was channeling your
Annette has a big thing going on coming up for Father's Day, and she thinks that, gosh, she doesn't know what to do before Father's Day. So we all need to rattle her a little bit and get her going on Page Wheel. But I have a question for you. So I have been sitting on this stupid checklist. You've motivated me to get it out today. But I have a line on the bottom of it that says, for more information, go to growthclubforcoachesandconsultants.com, which is where I was going to put the lead magnet for the club. Mm-hmm. Did I hear somebody mention or I heard whitelisting, but again, where are we on the URL? Because I'm letting that hold me back, and it's probably dumb.
Yeah. So I would remove it. I would just remove it right now. It's going to happen. I mean, if you go into Page Wheel, you'll see a place to put it in there, but I am not guaranteeing that it's working. And I have 2 days of testing on it before I'm going to tell anybody to go use it. And my experience is my first day of testing will say that second day of testing will be a week from now. Just based on my experience. So I would just remove it and add it back.
Get it out. I showed it to Annette on, I don't know, whatever day we talked this week. We did kind of a peer chat, and She thought it was great. I've been sitting on the stupid thing. I keep saying I'm going to launch Growth Club, and then I just sit and wait for the URL, which is really dumb. So,
I mean, you guys, like, if you have to put your email address, like, it doesn't matter. Like, unless you have 20,000 people responding, which would be an amazing thing, and then you could hire some help. Just whatever it takes to get that to come back to you. Because what that person just needs is a connection to you to take them to that next step.
Kim, that's a dumb moment. I didn't even think about what I need to do is just link it. Then they could click on the hyperlink and it'll go to the Growth Club enrollment page wheel.
That's just way too smart.
That's what I thought you had done. I'm like, don't make them type anything. They'll never type anything.
They never will. They don't read.
And if they do, they're going to misspell it.
Stuff.
They can't spell their own names, much
and we
less
do have QR codes if you want to overcomplicate it.
We're the only people that look at URLs.
Jeez. I sit here and preach simple. Simple is better. Simple, simple.
It's always easier to solve other people's
simplicity. Jeez.
So now you're out of excuses, right? And we're going to check back with you later today.
I am. Y'all hold me accountable. Everybody blow up my whatever today and say, did you do it?
I love it.
I'm a little like Sean. I'll have 80 other things going by this afternoon.
Joy.
Hey, yes. So sorry. Real quick.
No, you're good.
I want to know if there is like a link or something to show how to link MailerLite to PageWheel, or is that something that I have to find out from
Yeah, so if you go into, in fact, let me share my screen here.
Thank you.
Let me just a second. I need to get into my PageWheel. Just a second. Stop sharing my screen. All right, so we're going to just go back to the kind of the hub or the dashboard in PageWheel, and then you're going to go to your list. And this will be all the people that have bought or opted in for whatever you're selling. The simplest things to do at the beginning is to just download the list as a CSV, which is just a spreadsheet. And then MailerLite will say, do you want to upload a spreadsheet? And you'll say yes and upload it over there. Very simple. It will take you less than 2 minutes the first time and less than a minute after that. If you want it to go automatically, then you're just going to hit the Setup Zapier. You can get a free account until you hit a certain amount of what they call zaps, and just select MailerLite. So if we go in there, it will say, what do you want? And you like add new PageWheel leads as MailerLite contacts. You'd use that workflow and it will walk you through connecting your MailerLite account with your PageWheel account. Once you click on the Zapier button, you are now in Zapier. So like if you are like, I need help setting up Zapier, all of the help inside of this is Zapier help, and it's really good. If you're like, I have no idea what to do, they'll walk you through it with little videos and stuff.
Oh, thank you so much. And I'm sorry, lastly, because I've already had so many old products that I'm going to import into PageWheel. I have a Squarespace and I have launch pages for those products. Is there a way to link a Squarespace with the PageWheel somehow?
And you're talking about taking money through Squarespace?
Not necessarily. I don't mind where the money comes from, but let's say I have the link on my Squarespace, right?
Yeah.
But I have the product on PageWheel. So how will that
if you
connect?
Could just sell it through PageWheel, like
the link is not to buy. The link is like a launch page, like here's my product, and then I want them to click it and go to PageWheel.
Okay.
Or is that not a thing?
Yeah. So let me show you I think I understand what you're saying.
But it doesn't matter where it's sold from. I would prefer PageWheel.
Yeah.
Whatever is, easier.
So let's say once these load, I can show you. Once you get your products in here, then you can grab the links to the product. And it's still loading. All right. So like the links right here, if you want to send them to the offer page that you set up through Pagewheel, you can do that. Or the delivery page, if they've already paid you yet, depending on what it is. If you're just delivering it, you could even use the PDF link. Does that make sense? You could be linking to the sales page, to the if you're just saying, hey, here's the product, go buy it on Pagewheel, then you'll want to use this first one. Does that make sense, Joy?
Yes, that makes a lot of sense. But actually, you just mentioned selling directly through Pagewheel, which would be ideal because Squarespace is so expensive, and I haven't made enough money to justify yet. So if I have until October with Squarespace, but unless, like I said, I make significant money.
So what I would say, Joy, is upload your product, push the button to make the website. Put a price on it. So let's go into here. I'm going to go into the website for this product that I've built before. And this website was made by AI based on what we uploaded. So you're not like reinventing the wheel here or spending a lot of time on it. And so if you wanted to say, okay, I want to sell that for $13, you just put $13 in there. And all of the buttons change to $13, and the $13 comes to you through Stripe. So
that's way better.
Yeah, it's just a lot simpler. And then you can this happens to be a workshop page, but then these first two buttons will automatically deliver that product that you've uploaded into Pagewheel, and then that first email will deliver it as well. And so then you can follow up with them however you want after that.
Oh, nice. But you can make workshops then on Pagewheel?
Mm-hmm. So let's go back to the offer page. So most of the time we're showing you the digital product page because that's what everything is kind of based off of. But if you look up here, see this right here, digital product is the first one, but there's all these other types of pages that you could be using. And basically what they are is mix and match of some of the elements that you could add to any given page, just set up as a template. Oh, this will be easy to just add. But remember, even if you're like, oh, I really want to add a video here, you could just push the plus button, choose whatever you want to add, and then add it that way too. Okay?
That would have saved me a ton of money last year. Thank you. I thought it was only digital products. That is amazing.
No, so we thought it was only digital products at first too. And then we realized, hey, we've accidentally made funnels.
Happy accident. Thank you.
Oops. We end up doing a lot of oops in my life.
Yeah, but you guys' oops are pretty darn good.
Yeah.
I'm not disappointed with the oops in my life. And I think, I was just talking to someone yesterday about how like the best way to learn and the best way to succeed is through failure. I think that's one of the problems with a lot of corporate America is you're in positions that you're not allowed to fail. Whereas the entrepreneurs are just failing left and right, and getting ahead of the system.
By the way, Holly, thank you for introducing me to SmarterQ.
Oh, good.
Holy moly.
It makes life easier, doesn't it?
Oh, my engagement has gone through the roof, and I went to Barbados and people are like, oh my gosh, that thing you posted today was so funny. And I'm like, ooh, let me go see what I posted. How am I so funny? Oh, yes, right. Okay.
All right. I just took a screenshot of the Joy said that would have saved me so much money. Thank you. I forget to do this. So
gotta capture those things because when that came out her mouth, I was like, "Ooh, there's a testimonial for you, Holly." I'm assuming Joy will allow it.
I love it. All right, y'all. You are commanded, if I may be so bold, to have a good weekend. And really think about that first step. One step. Do not overthink it. Do not overproduce it. Do not pass go. Do not collect $100, $200. No, simplify. Simplify your message, simplify everything, because nobody cares. Like, all they care about in themselves and getting themselves on that path to transformation. So all right, have a good one.